Hi, Dr. Anna. How are you doing?
I'm doing great today, and actually, we're going to discuss an incredible, interesting topic today about emotional intelligence, right?
Yes, since this is actually Dr. Anna's expertise, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about your
Yes,
journey?
I love doing this. So, my name is Anna Kravtcova. I hold Ph.D. in Organizational Psychology, and I was even lucky enough to be the TED speaker in 2018 about emotional intelligence, how it can influence the culture of the city. I'm the member of numerous professional communities such as APA, PSYOP, EuroPsy, Russian Psychological Society. And,
Amazing.
yeah, I agree. I'm cognitive behavioral therapist. I work with emotional intelligence, burnout, procrastination, and the main thing is that I'm organizational psychologist.
Currently, I'm watching this TV series called Billions, actually rewatching it, and there's this one character named Wendy.
Wendy, yes,
Tell us
organizational
about this.
psychologist Wendy. So as you see, it's not a hired coach that just trains some skills of the employees. It's actually the advisor of the owner who helps him to implement the organizational changes. It includes all methods of developing, like assessment of the employees and top managers, trainings, workshops, leadership, yes, individual counseling. So, and the main goal of organizational psychology activities is to unite the goals of each employees with the mission of the company. So yeah, that's what we do.
I think when it comes to having an overall health, like for example, preventive healthcare, which is the company that I have, we work with LGUs and companies as well. It's important to integrate behavioral psychology.
For sure. I think psychology is the new future. Yes, it's not the new religion, but it's really the one that makes you feel responsible for what you do, for what you feel, and helps you to develop and to be more happy.
Yes, I think when people say, like, I think certain cultures or even religion mindset, like, if you need a psychologist, you're already automated as crazy or like you have a disorder. Whereas I think it's as important as like eating 3 meals a day, you know. It's something that's humanitarian and also part of your self-care process.
I absolutely agree with you, Asha. You know, there is even such a term called psyche hygiene. So even if you don't have any traumas, any painful memories from your childhood, or even if you don't want to develop some skills, you still need to do this to visit your psychologist at least once a month or better once a week, just to upload all the stress, all the negativity, all the toxic shit. I'm sorry. That is happening
No,
around
definitely.
us.
Just remove that
I
shit off
apologize
your
for
system.
my salty language. Yes, but it is so. Yes, you know, we live in a very interesting, specific time. You know that there are methods of assessment become not valid just for a month because of economic situation or social situation, and some questionnaires they are still relevant for 50 years, for example, like MMPI, the questionnaire that measures your suicidal skills. Yes. So one of these questionnaires is the test that measures the anxiety and stress level.
Definitely.
And so, yeah, there is research, there are studies that show that the level of anxiety of millennials now is the same as the level of anxiety of the patients of psychiatric clinics in 60s.
Oh, I see. So basically we are deranged as it is before.
Yes, and it happens because of the informational pressure. There is so much information around us, and it is so, you know, even our chats, you know, WhatsApp, and we are always
overwhelmed.
Yes, we can always be tracked. Everyone know how to get them. You know, I read the article that says that ADHD actually is our new reality. So everyone will have some kind of...
It became environmental, you mean? I see.
Yes. So we all, you know, think that our children are not good enough because they have this clip thinking, as we call it, so they can't focus more than 15 seconds.
Oh.
I have some men that have the same problems, actually. Yes, especially on women needs.
Goodness. But it's true. I mean, overstimulation is also a short-term dopamine hit that we've been using whenever we're coping through something, keeping up with our needs, our work needs. So how will you deal with this when in terms of emotional intelligence and leadership strategies? How can you implement this within your...
Actually, I lead to that direction because emotional intelligence and mindfulness are two skills that can help you to avoid to be infected by this toxic information, junk information, pressure, toxic people, even, the traumatic memories and things that happen in our lives. Yes, so we all have losses, we all have changes, and our psyche doesn't like changes. It's a big stress for our brain. Actually, when I think about our brain system, I imagine have a dog, right, Asha?
Yes, I have a poodle named Chili.
Poodle, yeah, great. So, and I imagine, so it's like a Labrador, Labrador, really happy Labrador. And of course, he doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to lose his energy. He just wants to eat, to sleep, and to have fun.
Yes.
That's actually our brain system. So when we try make him do something hard, he resists.
Obligatory responsibility is not their forte.
Of course. That's why we have procrastination, we have burnout, and a lot of, different things like that. So emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? How do you understand what is emotional intelligence, Asha?
How I could deal with my emotions and how I could deal with other people's emotions.
That's right. So there are actually several components of emotional intelligence. It's very important to know them because they are trained in a different way with your consultant, with your psychologist.
Tell me about it.
Yes, the first one is emotional awareness of
Okay.
yourself and others. The second one is actually emotional management. Again, of your own emotions and emotions of others. Then it goes emotional expression. We can discuss what is the difference between the expression of your emotions and management of your emotions, because it's like internal and external part. Then goes empathy. Also, it's important to separate three types of empathy. We will discuss it now. And the fifth is, surprisingly, goal setting.
Goal setting.
Goal setting. Yesterday, Asha actually was on my workshop, the day before yesterday.
Yes,
Yeah,
emotional
about
intelligence
emotional
workshop.
intelligence. And I already told her this trick. So with developed emotional intelligence, actually can cheat on lie detector. And our dear listeners, do you know who also can cheat on lie detector? Asha knows the answer already. Psychopaths. And you know why? Not because they're so skillful in changing their emotions, but because they just don't feel anxiety or guilt, yes, that they need to feel in this situation, hearing this question. So I think that's impressive. So the part of goal setting is one of the most important in emotional intelligence, because you can control your emotions, but if it makes you feel hurt, so you control emotions because you respect others and you don't respect yourself, so in the future it will lead to bigger problems with your psyche. And it's for sure it's not about the right goal setting. As I told Asha yesterday, the correct goal setting goes straight from your subconscious. You need to understand that if your goals are not truthful, if you don't believe in them, you will never achieve them.
If it's more intrinsic in a way then, so if you do not believe in your goal that you're capable of doing it, or that you are equipped with skill set, emotional, or like perseverance, then you won't accomplish it, right?
Yes. And also because, again, of all this information that we have, we see these beautiful Instagram pictures, for example, or we see successful people.
Perfection, basically.
Yes. Of course, we think that we need to achieve it. We also need to lose weight always. We need to have the highest level of education and skill set. We need to be always happy. We can't be bored or sad or apathetic, burnout, right?
Well-traveled, perfect relationships,
Sure.
shopping sprees.
Sure.
So how do you deal with your clients who are usually high-functioning CEOs, managers who are handling multiple companies? How do you deal with their emotional intelligence strategy, like how to cope with this?
Well, actually, all the work with emotional intelligence starts with observing. And if you are familiar with cognitive behavioral therapy, you probably know that first we try to find the algorithms of thinking and behavior. So we analyze your everyday's behavior, or how do you manage people on the meetings, something like that. We find the patterns that are not effective, not productive, and that are harmful for you or for your employees. And then we need to find the reason. Why do you act like that? The problems, of course, can be in your deep childhood. That's why coaches can't train this. Well, it can be only in psychological consultations, in the therapy, because we don't know what traumas caused this behavior. And after that, when we got rid of the main problem, we can change the behavioral and cognitive patterns, and we just implement them in lives. It will take from 3 to 6 months to completely change the leadership style.
That's amazing.
Yes. And you heard that there are actually 3 main organizational culture types.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it will be very interesting for listeners also because they can analyze and remember their company's organizational culture and compare. So the first one is this typology of organizational culture is based on our basic archetypes of activity, like from ancient times, from the evolution
Up until
theory.
now.
Yes, yes. So there are 3 of them. It's family, church, and army. So church, it means that even in when we were savages, we had this shaman who called the rain.
Guides us to not burn in hell.
Yes, yes. The author of this typology is my scientific supervisor, Людмила Nikolaevna Aksinovskaya. I respect her very much, and she's genius. I think the most common for Philippines is family organizational
The family
culture.
organizational, that's for sure.
Because first of all, you have very close relationships in the companies, and for good and for bad, actually.
Yes.
Also, you hire your relatives, which is
Yes.
also
Our close friends or the friend of the friend.
Yes, yes. The good things about this company is that you have very low staff turnover. It's good. But the bad thing is that the tasks are not always get done.
Because
So-
there's too much personnel to implement discipline.
Yes, yes, exactly. The leader of such companies are parent. So his super strength is empathy. He is very close to all employees. He knows all the details of their lives, etc., etc. And how this leader punishes the employees by resentment. It's so strange when you see, the group of adult people that are, offended to each other in the company because someone didn't perform. But it is like that. And this is the criteria, the characteristics of our family organizational culture. So how can we improve it? We need to add elements even to the emotional intelligence of the leader from different types of cultures.
So how will you change it for the familial one?
Well, so family, as I told you, the bad things about family organizational culture is not all the tasks got to the results, not done. So how can we balance it? We can balance it with army organizational culture. So we can train the leader with the skill of emotional plasticity, so to change his emotions, not to be in resentment for
and
too
too
long.
emotional. It could be like goal-driven instead of emotionally driven.
Of course, of
Okay.
course. And also, it's very important to implement the power of SOPs in family organizational culture. Even, the protocols of the meeting and the person who is responsible
Okay.
for these protocols collect together, the tasks that were,
At hand. So
Yeah.
there's family, there's army, and then church. Tell us
Church.
more about this one.
Oh, church is my favorite because church is about the idea. Everyone follow the idea of the leader. Probably you've met such people.
Like
They
a
are
cult.
Yeah, they're burning from inside. They have the idea and they love it. They want to achieve it. And they don't really care who else follows this idea. That's the problem. That's why they have very high level of staff turnover because they don't care who are the followers. They just need to have followers, but who will be concrete, this person or that, they don't care. But their employees are very motivated.
So
highly
it's
motivated.
action-oriented.
Action-oriented, goal-oriented, idea-oriented. And you will see these employees, they have goosebumps because of the idea of the project. They work at nights, they overwork for sure, they are
Yes.
very motivated, they are best in providing services for the clients. But of course, because of that, they have burnout.
Emotional imbalances. For
Yes,
sure.
they burn bright, but they burn out very fast.
How about identity crisis? They're just more of like a total follower. So how about their own ideals? What happens to this?
It's an interesting thing about leadership itself because when one leader meets another leader, their values, their basic values, they start
Clashing.
they're competing. So, and what happens in such cases? For example, you have the best employee and he's really leader. So if you are not connected to him, if he doesn't follow your values and ideas, he will start building his own organizational culture within your company.
Definitely.
And this leader is called anti-leader, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and we need to work with him with the specific methods because he can ruin your idea, your mission.
So in terms of like, you've worked with a lot of companies around the world, and for each organization, there are different structures that you've noticed, but usually this these three are prevalent, right?
Yes, these are basic. And you understand that when the company is young, for example, when you have startup and the leader is, green young guy, he uses all these three methods, but quite chaotic. So he can be a parent in this situation.
It comes all over the place then.
Yes. But the best companies who have the synthesis of all the three cultures, of all the three types.
And I think it's about knowing when to use one method accordingly as well.
Yeah.
So this is where emotional intelligence goes in, yeah?
Of course, because you need to understand clearly the emotions of others and you need to manage them. And actually, you need to remember that leader constitutes organizational culture. You can say, oh, my employees, they're not performing. No, it's your problem. The fish is rotten from the head, how we say in Russia. So you translate the value. If the leader is strong, the values are broadcasting until, the lower levels of employees. If he is weak, he can't even have the strong top managers team.
Cannot make them move, make things happen.
Yes, exactly. So first we need to work with top managers and with the owners of the companies to make it clear and to teach them these methods. Because if you are not okay with your own emotions, if you don't understand what you feel, you can't control it, you can't manage it. And about also this empathy. I remember I told you that I will tell you more about it. There are actually three types of empathy. It will be interesting for you, Asha, because I remember we talked several times about it. So the first type is cognitive empathy. The cognitive empathy is when you know that when this person has this micro-expression on his face or the situation can cause this or that emotion, so you understand that probably he has this emotion, he has these feelings right now. The second type of empathy is emotional empathy. It's actually when you come into the room and you feel that everyone is so excited or nervous or any emotion, and you start, you understand that they feel that by emotions, not by cognitive,
And you give them certain emotion also. It's like you feed them emotion.
You can manage, you can choose the reactions, right? And the third type of empathy is compassionate empathy. And this one is the most tricky because, for example, your friend calls you and she tells you that she has huge problems in her life, and you start feeling the same.
Okay.
Not because she has to go through it, you just synchronize with her emotions. Also, we need to remember that, again, based on our evolutionary theory, we didn't have language. So the only way we could connect to each other and understand each other were emotions. So we are very good in reflecting emotions, and for good and for bad. That's why when we read heavy news or we were, pressed with this COVID all around the world, we had huge stress.
Because we're absorbing the emotions all around us. So it means that emotional regulation of like any kind of emotion that you want to put in or put out has to be regulated and watched over.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Yes, sure. As I told you, the first step of changes is observing, is watching something. Whether it is your weight or money, you understand that when you look at your spendings, you already start controlling your financial management. The same with your emotions. You need to be honest to yourself, actually, and to properly analyze it. And again, we're coming back to emotional intelligence.
Knowing where you're strong, where you're weak.
Yes, and never suppress your emotions. There is an interesting theory about hidden suppressed subpersonalities.
Oh, tell me about this.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting to know in Philippines because one of your main entertainment here is drinking alcohol.
Yes.
So, you like parties, guys. So when you drink a lot, you probably noticed that some strange subpersonality appears, right? In my case, when I was drinking, it was more than 5 years ago, I called her Jessica.
Okay.
So when I drank a lot, appeared my hidden personality, subpersonality, Jessica. She was very aggressive. She was very offended. She acted horribly, actually. So what does it mean? It means that appears the feelings that you try to suppress in your normal life. So I didn't allow myself to be angry at people. I didn't allow myself to show that I'm offended.
Or displeased about something.
Yes. I thought that I always had to care about everyone's feelings around, not about my feelings. That's why when I drank alcohol, Jessica came into her strong positions and she destroyed everyone around. Some people become relaxed because of the alcohol, because they can't feel it in their normal life. Some people become angry. Some people
relaxed.
happy. You're relaxed. Yes,
Yes.
because you need to keep this balance.
Yes.
You need to be very delicate That's why alcohol is the method that helps you to relax. But actually, it doesn't help you to relax. The thing that I learned when I gave up drinking is that you need to implement your own Jessicas in your normal life. So now I'm aggressive in my normal life. Now I can be offended and feel resentment in my normal life.
But I think
it's balance.
You mentioned Buddhism earlier, and this one thing that I learned in Buddhism, apart from being a vegetarian for 15 years, is righteous anger. There is such a thing called righteous anger when you're being harmed or someone is trying to hurt you. You have a right to push back and say, "Get away from me. You're not allowed to do this."
Of course.
So
It's
I'm
enough.
proud. I'm proud of your Jessica coming out of her show.
Yeah, me too. And actually, it really makes a big difference when a drunk woman dances on the table or sober woman dances on the table, believe me. So now the same. I have fun at the parties. I dance on the tables. But yeah, some things different.
I do remember upon meeting you before, and you were dancing pretty well. And I was surprised to know that you were sober.
Yes. You don't need to be drunk to do that.
To be
and you can
happy.
implement your Jessicas in your real lives.
You can be happy. You can express yourself more ways than one without using vices.
Yes, I agree. And these are the things that we discuss with leaders, because leaders are also like regular, normal people like us, and they just have more responsibility. They have a real important mission. I think the mission that comes through leaders is really something out of this planet, It's something that they need to do no matter what they know, no matter what experience they had. It just comes like talent or something. And so, of course, the responsibility is
Pressured.
Yes. That's why, they need more strengths. They need more help and support. They need more clear thinking.
What would be your last advice to a leader or a normal average person when it comes to emotional intelligence?
Well, as I told you, the first thing, start observing your emotions, analyzing, observing, tracking your emotions. Show your emotions that you respect them, and you will see the difference already. And then, of course, I advise each of you to have your own psychologist.
That's very beautiful, Dr.
Yes.
Anna. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me, my dear Asha. It was really an interesting and inspiring talk. I learned also a lot of interesting things, and your feedback is very important.
Thank you for
also.
gracing us, and thank you so much for being you. You are amazing, Dr. Anna.
Thank you, my dear.
Namaste.
Looking forward to see you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you.